My name is Josh Keipel. My crew members Mackenzie Fox, Ben Schuler, Lauren Dallas, and Robin Boyle worked together to design a 3D printed object for a 7-year-old girl seeking occupational therapy services. She is a 7-year-old female in the first grade with a variety of conditions. She has encephalopathy, complex partial epilepsy, microcephaly, and a global developmental delay. In addition to these conditions, she also has a bilaterally weak grasp and bilateral visual inattention. One of E's characteristics is that she's always carrying or fidgeting with a Duplo block. It is necessary for her teacher to take this block from E so that she may participate in classroom activities. Despite her fidgeting, however, she is great with social interactions and enjoys socializing with her classmates. To fully understand and adequately help E, it's important to know the details of her diagnosis. Encephalopathy is a term meaning damage, malfunction, or disease of the brain. In this case, an altered mental state is the primary symptom. Another disorder that E has is complex partial epilepsy. This disorder presents as a seizure that occurs on one side of the brain in a specific area due to a surge of electrical energy. These symptoms can include extreme emotions, vision changes, and odd perceptions and feelings. Another one of E's diagnoses is a condition called microcephaly. This is due to abnormal brain development, which presents as the baby's head being much smaller than is expected. Symptoms of microcephaly include speech delay and intellectual disability.
Continued. Global development delay, a diagnosis of a child having lower intellectual functioning than what is typically seen as normal, and is usually accompanied by significant communication limitations. Bilaterally weak grasp, a weakness in grasp in both left and right hands. Bilateral visual inattention, a general inattention, an impairment of visual processing affecting both left and right fields of vision. Occupational roles: E is a child, a daughter, a student, a classmate, and a friend. E's values and interest. E values and loves to be social and interact with others. E also enjoys and is interested in fidgeting with her Duplo block.
E's strengths and challenges. For strengths, E is great at initiating social interactions. For challenges, she has a weak bilateral grasp, has bilateral visual inattention, and fidgets with her Duplo block, which inhibits her ability to participate. How challenges may affect E. E's bilateral weak grasp may affect her ability to grip objects like pencils, and this could affect her role as a student. She has the ability to grip, but it may not be strong enough to write for any duration of time. E's bilateral visual inattention may affect her role as a student if she is not aware of educational information being presented on either side of her field of vision. Her bilateral visual inattention may also affect her fulfillment of being a classmate if she is not aware of another classmate trying to get her attention. Since E loves to fidget with her Duplo block, it may affect her fulfillment of succeeding in the classroom as a student if she is constantly distracted from what she is supposed to be doing or focusing on. For our designed 3D print, we created puzzle cubes. These are designed as a 2-piece portable puzzle. The idea was to replace E's Duplo block with a more engaging toy that requires bilateral attention and addresses her bilateral grasp weakness. Resistance is used to help increase her grip strength by making her use force to get the pegs and shapes into their respective holes. The shapes we have used as pegs are hexagons, a triangle, circles, a half circle, and a star. The shapes can be changed or made larger or smaller so they can be seen better or increase or decrease resistance. This product can be easily graded for an easy fit, from an easy fit to a challenging fit as we attempt to improve E's weak grasp by working on the muscle tone and strength in her hands. If the shapes themselves are too difficult for E to see and match up, we could also adapt the task by using colors on each side that she would have to match up instead of focusing on matching the shapes alone. The cube's overall size can be changed to better fit into the client's hand. For the next pictures and videos you'll notice they're very small. The print was made that size for time efficiency, I just wanted to see if we could get it out quick enough for the project. Typically, the blocks would be much larger for an older child or smaller for the smaller child. Resistance can be increased by printing the shapes to just barely fit into the holes, and also, if needed, coating the pegs with paint or a sticky substance to further increase resistance. This will require her to use more force to get them into and out of the holes. This will help improve her functional limitation of weak grip strength and endurance for performing this task. The pegs come in different shapes and numbers to help with her goal of cognitive development, which is hampered by her global developmental delay. She will need to recognize different shapes and be able to count number of shapes, sides per shape and number of shapes per side. The pieces fit together to form one block that she can still carry around in one hand when she no longer wishes to engage with it, similar to her personal preference to perseverate with the Duplo block. Since there are 2 cubes, she could engage in social participation by sharing one with a friend. The 2 would have to work together to complete the puzzle.
Areas of occupation addressed. Play. E noticeably loves to play with her Duplo blocks. It indeed brings meaning to her life. These puzzle cubes can be used as an object of enjoyment and amusement. Education. It allows her learning to be reinforced by basic learning concepts such as shapes and counting, while offering tactile stimulus to potentially enhance that learning. Leisure. Identifying skills and interests for things to do in her free time, like other types of puzzles. As we stated earlier, E loves her Duplo blocks. These puzzle-type toys have a meaningful place of interest in her life and can be modified or adapted to help serve additional aspects of leisure. Social participation. By sharing one or even both blocks with a friend or peer, E can learn how to engage with others while observing or interacting with them. Values, beliefs, and spirituality. Values. E values being kind to her classmates. Sharing her puzzle cubes is one way in which she expresses this. Beliefs. E believes that being disabled does not control or hinder her ability to participate in the activities that she enjoys. Spirituality. This brings a sense of meaning to E's friendships through sharing. It can also act as an icebreaker or conversation starter to help build social connections. In our design project, E uses different body functions and client factors that are therapeutically addressed. Working memory. E has to apply her memory while performing the task of putting the right sides of the cubes together. Multisensory processing. E has to use more than one sense to figure out how to put the cubes together. She has to use vision to watch what she is doing, and she has to touch and use pressure to hold and apply force to fit the puzzle cubes together. Arousal and consciousness. E has to be conscious and aware of what she is doing. Impulse control. E has to regulate her negative urges so she does not hurt herself or anyone around her with the puzzle cubes. Tactile and touch. E has to use touch to grip the puzzle cubes in her hands. Pressure. E has to apply pressure to both cubes in order to get them to fit together. Depth perception. E has to understand how close or far apart the cubes are using her coordination between visual and movement. Bilateral coordination. E has to use both her left and right hand to complete the puzzle cubes. Fine motor control. E has to use fine motor control to manipulate the puzzle cubes in her hands. Oculomotor control. E has to use oculomotor control to track which side of the puzzle cube fits with the other piece of the puzzle cube. In order to successfully use the printed object, E has to have certain muscle and joint functions intact. Muscular endurance. She has to be able to sustain muscle contraction while trying to fit the size of the cubes into one another. Muscle power. E needs strength to fit the puzzle cubes together. Fingers. E needs to be able to flex and extend her fingers along with abducting and adducting her fingers to manipulate the cube in her hands. Thumb. E needs to be able to circumduct, abduct, adduct, flex, and extend her thumb. Wrist. She needs to be able to flex and extend along with radial and ulnar deviation and circumduction. Forearm. E needs to be able to pronate and supinate the forearm to be able to use the puzzle cube successfully.
To successfully use the puzzle cubes, E is required to have different performance skills. For motor skills, aligns. E is required to effectively align the blocks, ideally with them in hands rather than on a table for support. Manipulates. The puzzle nature of the blocks requires E to use dexterous movements. Coordinates. The puzzle blocks are a pair. Their designed use is to use both hands to simultaneously fit them together. Grips. The blocks require E to use any number of grasp patterns to provide enough force to fit the pieces together. Process skills. Attends. E is required to visually focus on fitting the pins into the holes. Losing focus may inhibit the process. Adjusts. E is required to adjust block position to correctly align the various pins. Handles. E is required to handle the puzzle blocks without dropping the pieces or breaking the pins. Social interaction skills. Take turns. E may choose to use the cubes as a social tool, taking turns with classmates to fit the pieces together. Heeds. E must work with her partner to achieve the task of fitting each side of the puzzle together. Places self. E must position herself in a way that her puzzle partner can participate with her. Some of E's habits, routines, and roles are complemented by the puzzle cubes. E's habit of fidgeting with puzzle cubes will be complemented. E's role of being a child is complemented because she is learning and playing with the puzzle cubes. Her routine of carrying around a small object is complemented by the puzzle cubes, since she can still carry them around. There are certain context and environment factors that E may use to utilize the puzzle cubes. For cultural context, behavior standards, E will understand that she should not do things like throw the blocks. She may also have activity patterns, and E may find a specific time in which she prefers to use her cubes, and she may use them every day while the teacher explains an activity. Personal. E is a 7-year-old female in the 1st grade. Since she is 7 years old, the cube will be used as an object of play. As a 1st grade student, she may be starting to learn shapes and numbers. She can see how the shape indent on one cube may link with the raised shape of the other cube. Temporal context. E's teachers may choose to limit her time with the puzzle cube to X amount of minutes so that she will still participate in her classroom activities. When she gets home from school, her parents may choose to limit her time with the cubes so she will engage in tasks like eating and doing homework. Physical environment. The lighting in the classroom may not be sufficient enough for viewing the cubes to place them together. She will then have to rely on more tactile sensations to use the cubes. Social environment. The environment may limit her time with the blocks based on the teacher and classmates' need for her active participation. Now here are our references, and thank you for listening to our 3D group printing project for E.